Hey guys, the news about 7-star Inteleon that's dropping this weekend has just dropped, and I'm going to show you the best Pokemon that you can prepare for it that will more than likely be able to take out this Inteleon. So we have 6 Pokemon in this actual video, 2 solo Pokemon, 2 support Pokemon, and 2 Pokemon that could work and could be quite fun that you might not think of. But first off, I just want to give an honourable mention to Tinkaton and Corviknight because they are good Pokemon. They'd probably be decent enough, but they didn't quite make the list. Now, the event starts on the 28th of April, 3 PM UTC. I'll put it on screen right now, and I'll put a link to the actual details for the raid in the description if you want to check that out. Now, Inteleon is going to be a special attacker. There's no doubt about it. It has very high special attack and very high speed, so it will probably outspeed pretty much all of your Pokemon. I will put its stats on screen right now so you have a better understanding of what we're dealing with. And its ability is going to be Sniper Shot, which will increase the damage of its critical hits that it gets. Now, I was looking at Inteleon and I've got a good idea of what moves it's probably going to use. So it's going to use Snipe Shot. It's his signature move. It's got an increased crit chance. Now, the second move is obviously going to be an Ice type move. It's going to be either Ice Beam or Blizzard. Its third move, I'm guessing, is probably going to be something like Acrobatics or Air Cutter. Acrobatics for coverage. It learns it just through level up and it can learn it through TM. Or Air Cutter because it can learn it through TM and it's got an increased crit. So they might just put that in there. So it's kind of like whenever it gets a crit, it does a hell of a lot of damage. Now, its last attacking move is probably going to be Shadow Ball. I can't really see it being anything else. And then you've got the 2 moves that aren't in the main moveset that are normally going to be setup moves. So one of them is more than likely going to be Swords Dance. When it gets low in health, it's probably going to increase its attack. And the other one, I'm guessing, will be a weather condition like Snowscape so that Blizzard never misses. And it increases its own defense by 50%. Or Rain Dance to just increase the damage of its Snipe Shot. Now that we've gone over the actual raid, we're going to get into the Pokemon that are probably going to be the best for you to build in preparation for this Inteleon. And if you do like videos like this, make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more videos like this. There's plenty more where that came from. And if you want even more help for this 7-star raid and just loads of other things, then make sure to join the Discord. Link will be in the description. Now, first off, we have the one, the only Annihilape. He's been bossing the last few raids and there shouldn't be any exception. Now, even though he's a fighting type, if this Inteleon did have Air Cutter and it got a max roll with an increased crit damage from its ability, the most it's ever going to do is about 80% of your health in damage when we have max IVs and max EVs in HP. We're going to be running the fighting type Tera because it is an ice type, this Inteleon, and we're going to be holding the shell bell so all the damage we do is returned to us and we can just stay alive all raid. As you probably know, in these 7-star raid, recovering health is crucial because they output so much damage. Now, moving on to the EVs, we're going to be running HP and attack for our EVs. Now, with all of these Pokemon, you can run attack and special defense because it's only going to be using special attacks. But I'm going to be running HP and attack on most of these Pokemon that deal damage just because I want to use them in the future, so keep that in mind. Now, you want max IVs on all of your Pokemon just to increase your chances of winning that raid, and the ability we're going to be running is Defiant just in case it has any stat lowering moves. Now, the moveset we're going to be running is going to be Drain Punch, Screech, and Bulk Up for good measure. You don't need a 4th move, all that should be enough. And the idea is just Screech 3 times and then just spam Drain Punch and get health back all raid and just do a load of damage. And all that should be enough for the Annihilape to take out the Inteleon without a problem. Our second solo Pokemon is going to be Iron Hands. You probably guessed this was going to be a good Pokemon when you found out it's going to be an ice type. It's one of the best fighting types going on the game. A lot of people use it. And we're going to be running the fighting type Tera on it, and we're going to be using the shell bell again to recover that health. EVs going into HP and attack. You want max IVs as well. We're going to be running the ability Quark Drive because it's the only ability we have. You're not necessarily going to need it. All you really need is Drain Punch and Belly Drum. Or if it's doing too much damage to you, I am going to swap out Belly Drum for Swords Dance, which Iron Hands can also learn, and I suggest you do the same. Now, if you really want to, you can get rid of your extra 2 moves and put in Electric Terrain because of his ability, and Close Combat in case you want to go for the one-shot. But Drain Punch and Belly Drum or Drain Punch and Swords Dance should be enough to make you win that raid. And unlike Annihilape, Iron Hands is actually an electric type as well, so those flying attacks will be neutral against you, and it's not weak to ghost moves. So these two Pokemon are probably going to be the best without a doubt for soloing this Pokemon. Up next, we have our first support Pokemon, and it's a Pokemon that's not actually been in the spotlight much, so it's time to give some love to Bronzong. I do have the Steel-type Tera, but the Tera type doesn't really matter with these two support Pokemon because you're not really going to be doing damage. The whole point of a support Pokemon is to support the people that are doing damage. The held item we're going to be using is going to be Leftovers. This will help us recover health all the way through the raid and keep us alive so that we can actually support the people doing the damage. And then the whole team outputs more damage towards the actual Inteleon. Moving on to our EVs, we're going to be running max HP and max special defense EVs. This will help us survive the raid as much as possible because it's only going to have special attacks. It has ridiculously high special attack. This Inteleon has 125 base special attack, so that's going to be a really heavy hitting Pokemon. Although I can't say the same about its defense, so we should be able to do a decent amount of damage to this one. Now the ability we're going to use on Bronzong doesn't really matter, just use whatever ability's on it and make sure you have max IVs as well. You don't really need max IVs in your attack and special attack though on the support Pokemon because we're not really going to be doing damage. And the moves we're going to be running is going to be Metal Sound, Trick Room, Light Screen and Helping Hand. Now this Pokemon is mainly going to be for those special attackers, even though most people that are going to be fighting in multiplayer will probably be running those physical attackers like Iron Hands and Annihilape. You never know. Some people might bring some special attackers and you could be very helpful. Or if you have a team that have special attackers that you communicate with, this will be a great Pokemon for them. So Metal Sound will just reduce the special defense and make your team output a load of damage. We also have Trick Room on this build because Inteleon is so fast. So after you use this, all 4 of your team will move first because it's probably going to be faster than every single member of your team. Third move is going to be Light Screen. This will increase the special defense of everyone on the team, which will help massively. Then the fourth one is going to be Helping Hand, so you can help some of the strongest members on your team output a lot more damage. Now, if you seem to be struggling staying alive against this raid for some reason, even though you have amazing special defense, then you can replace one of the moves with a Calm Mind. Probably want to replace Trick Room with Calm Mind because all the other moves are helping you offensively, your whole team. And the nature you're going to want to be running is going to be up in special defense and down in special attack. As for the 2 attackers, I forgot to mention, you want to be running Adamant, which is up in attack, down in special attack. Now let's move on to the next Pokemon. So the next Pokemon is going to be Umbreon. Again, doesn't matter what Tera it is, it'll probably be a Dark Tera if you've got it. And the item we're going to be using, again, is going to be Leftovers to recover that health every single turn. As a support, we need to stay alive. Our EVs are going to go into HP and special defense. You're going to want to make sure you have max IVs, and the ability we're going to be running is going to be Synchronize. Even though it doesn't really matter with our ability on the Umbreon, you're probably going to want to be using Synchronize just for future raids. Now, the nature you're going to want to be running is going to be the up in special defense and down in attack. This will maximize our special defense so we're taking as least damage as possible. And we don't have any physical attacking moves, but we do have a special attacking move. You want to make sure you have max IVs. Now the moves we're going to be running are Screech, Light Screen and Helping Hand. Those are the main moves we're going to be running. Screech to lower that physical defense, Light Screen to increase that special defense of your full team, Helping Hand to increase the damage output of the person you're using it on, and Snarl is an attacking move. And what it does is every time you hit your opponent with Snarl, it reduces their special attack by 1 stage. I've chose to go with this move. It's going to be a really good move for Inteleon, but if you really want to switch it up, you can go with Taunt if it's needed, or you can go with Moonlight, which recovers 50% of your health. We went with Snarl because, as you probably know, Screech doesn't work when the shield's up, and Snarl does because it's an attacking move, so we'll still be able to contribute to the team if the team is still setting up and there's no point in using Helping Hand. Moving on to the last 2 Pokemon. First, we have Perrserker. I feel like this is a forgotten Pokemon. I don't see many people using it anymore, but it's actually a really strong Pokemon if you're using it right in a group, especially for this raid. So we're going to be running the Steel-type Tera, which you should have on it if you have one, and we're going to be running the Shell Bell as well. As you can probably tell, most of these attacking Pokemon have Shell Bell on them because regaining that HP is so crucial in these 7-star raids. Now the EVs are going to go into HP and attack. or attack and special defense if you want to do it that way. But if you want to use it in the future, just do HP and attack. It should be fine. You want to make sure you have max IVs, and you want to make sure you're running the Adamant Nature, which is up and attack, down in special attack. And the ability we're going to be needing is going to be Steely Spirit. Now this ability is vital, and it powers up the steel type moves of the Pokemon and its allies by 50%. So everyone on the team who's a steel type gets a 50% damage boost, and steel types are super effective against ice moves. So if you have a couple of them in there, or even a full team of steel moves, then the damage output is going to be incredible, especially if you have like 3 or 4 of these guys. Like say on the first turn, 3 people could use Screech, 1 person could use an attack up buff, and then on the second turn you can just all attack and do a ton of damage. So for the moveset, we've got Iron Head, Swords Dance, Screech, and Amnesia. So the main moves are just going to be Iron Head, Swords Dance, and Screech. Iron Head's going to be our damaging move, Swords Dance is going to increase our attack, Screech is going to reduce his defense, and Amnesia is just an extra move just in case we need it, and it increases our special defense by 2 stages, so that's just for survivability. Now our last Pokemon is going to be Magnezone. It's going to be the only special attacking Pokemon on this list, and you're going to want to make sure that it's a steel type Tera, and it's also going to be holding the Shell Bell to recover that HP throughout the raid. Our EVs are going to go into special attack and HP. You want to make sure you have max IVs, and you also want to make sure you're running the Modest Nature, which is up in special attack, down in attack. Our ability is going to be the hidden ability Analytic. You will need an ability patch for some of these abilities, and this boosts the power of our move if we move last in the turn, which is going to be the case pretty much every single turn, and it increases the damage by 30%, so it's quite a big boost. Now the moves we're going to be using are going to be Flash Cannon, Metal Sound, Light Screen, and Eerie Impulse. All these moves are going to be super useful for this Pokemon. Flash Cannon is going to be our main damaging move. It can also lower the special defense. A small chance, but you never know. Metal Sound is going to reduce the special defense by 2 stages. It's going to be amazing for those special attackers on your team. Light Screen is going to be a defensive move for those special attacks on his side. And Eerie Impulse is going to be another defensive move. And what this does is it lowers the special attack of the Inteleon by 2 stages, so it will hardly be doing any damage unless it crits. So these are all 6 Pokemon. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any other Pokemon that you think would do well. Shout out to Tinkerton and Carvanite for nearly making it. And I can't wait for this weekend. Good luck in advance. I hope you all get your Mightiest Mag Inteleon. And smash that like button if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. And if you want to check out this playlist that I'm going to put on screen right now, it's full of builds. There's over 100 builds. They're tons of fun, and I would highly recommend going and checking it out. And I'll catch you on the next one.